Constitutional Court said it will rule in an abuse of power case against Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra on Tuesday, May the 6th, with a guilty verdict likely to force her from office and possibly bring her supporters onto the streets. In effect, that could lead to confrontation with anti-government groups who've been protesting in the capital Bangkok for 6 months in a bid to topple Yingluck, and who disrupted a general election in February that she'd been expected to win. The crisis broadly pits Bangkok's middle class and royalist establishment against the mainly poor rural supporters of Yingluck and her brother, ex-premier Thaksin Shinawatra, who was ousted by the military back in 2006 and now lives in exile to avoid a jail term handed down in 2008 for abuse of power. Yingluck defended herself in court against a charge relating to her transfer of National Security Council Chief Tawil Plensri in 2011, which opponents say was designed to benefit her Thai party and a family member. The lawyer of Prime Minister Yingluck says the decision is now in the hands of the judges.
Today we have provided whatever we could. We are satisfied with the witnesses that we have presented today, but whatever the judges think is up to them, but we have done our best.
Some legal experts say her entire government will have to go if she's forced to step down, but her party rejects that. She has led a caretaker administration with limited powers since dissolving parliament in December ahead of the election. The months of street protests have undermined Yingluck's government, but she has clung on and the number of protesters has dwindled. However, tension is rising as she faces a series of court cases to be heard by what her supporters say is a politicized judiciary. Both her red skirt supporters and the anti-government protesters plan large rallies in or around Bangkok next week.
Well, the Egyptian presidential favorite and former army chief Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has vowed that the banned Muslim Brotherhood group will cease to exist if he becomes Egypt's president. Mr. al-Sisi removed Egypt's first democratically elected president, Mohamed Morsi, from power last July and is widely expected to win the presidential election on the 26th and 27th of this month. However, he denies that he had any aspirations to be president when he ousted Mohamed Morsi.
On national television, Egypt's presidential front-runner Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is ruling out reconciliation with the Muslim Brotherhood movement. The former army chief removed Egypt's first democratically elected president, Mohamed Morsi, from power last July after mass protests and launched a crackdown on Morsi's Brotherhood party. Sisi is widely expected to win the presidential election later this month.
I want to say to you that it is not me who put an end to them. You, the Egyptians, put an end to them. The Egyptians said no. On the 30th of June 2013, they said no, and now they are saying no. Their problem is not with me personally, but the problem is with the Egyptian people. No one, no matter how powerful he may be, can take steps that the Egyptian people do not agree with.
During the interview, he was asked whether the Brotherhood would cease to exist during his presidency. Sisi answered, "Yes, that's right." He certainly seems like he's the favorite because he appears to have the support of the people.
Thank God he focused on some very important things, most importantly stability, security and the economy, and all of the issues that are relevant to Egyptians regarding their security and safety in the country, to enable everyone to live a dignified life. Egyptian passerby Ezat Saad says, "He is a great man, to be honest. His words are simple, yet strong. When you have someone who is speaking and understands what he is going to say, I mean, he is very clear about everything, and the Egyptian people want honesty."
During the telecast, al-Sisi also revealed that 2 assassination plots against him had been uncovered. An Islamist militant insurgency has been growing since Morsi's overthrow. Islamist militants have killed several hundred members of the security forces in bombings and shootings. The army-backed authorities have outlawed the Brotherhood and thousands of its supporters have been arrested and hundreds killed.
Elizabeth Arrott joins us now live via Skype from Cairo. She's with the VOA. Elizabeth, thank you for staying with us on The World Today. Mr. Al-Sisi's presidential campaign, or presidential ambition, I should say, it seems threatened by the presence of the Muslim Brotherhood, given what he's saying, that when he becomes president, they will become extinct. What is it about the Muslim Brotherhood that makes them such a threat to the Egyptian government?
Well, they had, since the revolution, had swept every election that has taken place in Egypt. So obviously they were able to mobilize their base, which people estimated anywhere from sort of 15 to 20, 25% of the population. But given its minority status, it still was able to dominate politically. For the Egyptian people, even though they had long been tolerated and even admired by many people, they felt that there was a certain Islamization, political Islam that people didn't like. And on top of that, they became kind of a catch-all for all the problems Egypt was having. And they've become very convenient to blame any problems on the Muslim Brotherhood.
But given what General Al-Sisi says about making the Muslim Brotherhood extinct, wouldn't that incite violence, or are people not reacting, should I say, negatively to that comment, or they're just ignoring it and just hoping the elections come and go as quickly as possible?
Well, I think everything that's happened since the ouster of Islamist President Mohamed Morsi has been so harsh that mere comments are less of a threat and less of anything than what's previously happened. We've had thousands of people either killed or imprisoned from the Muslim Brotherhood. So there were some people who were hoping perhaps there'd be some kind of post-election reconciliation, but these words would seem to rule that out. But again, many people figured that was going to be the course of action in any case.
But how do we know for sure that Al-Sisi did not have any presidential ambitions when he took over after ousting Mohamed Morsi? He's running for president now, isn't he?
Yes, and is certainly the clear front runner. He has one opponent who registers in the single digits in terms of popularity. He'll definitely go in. Yes, he did say that at the time, and it's been since questioned. He talked about a dream that he had. It was a leaked conversation, a privately recorded conversation. So obviously there have been thoughts along the way that he has had presidential ambitions. Now, he's going to be up against very tough things. One of the things that hurt Morsi was just the poor economy, nothing to do with politics. As you can see, I'm sitting in the dark because this is the second hours-long power outage, and it's only May. Yeah, he's going to have some very serious problems no matter what kind of image he puts politically across. The economic image is a situation to be a very, very big challenge, probably even more than the Brotherhood might be.
Thanks a lot, Elizabeth. Well, I do hope they restore the power soon for you in Cairo. Thanks a lot for bringing us up to speed. Elizabeth Arrott, the VOA correspondent in Cairo, Egypt. Return to South Africa now, where it's day 27 of the trial of the century. And 3 of Oscar Pistorius' nearest neighbors have testified to hearing a man crying loudly on the night the athlete shot his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. He also said they did not hear a woman screaming, contradicting earlier testimonies from other neighbors. The witnesses were called by Mr. Pistorius' defense team to testify at his murder trial as it seeks to prove he shot his girlfriend by mistake. He denies intentionally killing Ms. Steenkamp on February 14th last year. A South African Paralympic sprinter says he shot her through a toilet door in a state of panic, mistaking her for an intruder. When we come back after the break, we'll be returning to South Africa, but this time elections are tomorrow, presidential elections. Our correspondent, Betty Dibia, is on the ground catching all the thrills for us. Please join us again. Welcome back. In less than 24 hours, South Africans will be deciding whether the ANC comes back or the main opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, will become president of the country. But it does seem, as our correspondent told us, people will be voting on party lines. But special votes were concluded today, with former President Thabo Mbeki casting his vote ahead of his participation in the World Economic Forum taking place in Nigeria tomorrow. Our correspondent in South Africa, Pt.2, visited a local community just outside Johannesburg called Diepslot to find out the expectations of people tomorrow.
Elections, protests for lack of social services have been recorded in several parts of the country, with some communities vowing to boycott the vote and threatening election officials.
What the people want: eradication of squatter camp, eradication of poverty, the full services delivery.
And behind me here is the place called Diepslot, just outskirts of the city of Johannesburg. And we're here to find out what the people think of their lives and the country 20 years after the fall of apartheid and ahead of the elections. The poor living conditions are visibly deplorable here and crime rate high. Lucas Mohale and his family have lived here for a decade. He hopes his vote will bring change.
Now I'm just feeling better because it is not like during apartheid time. I'm gonna vote, and my intent to vote, I'm expecting better life than today.
His wife Dora supports the ruling party ANC, but is disheartened over the allegations of corruption against its leadership.
If only we can find another president, then I will vote again.
President Zuma?
No, I'm not going to vote for him.
Oh, you said you're ANC?
Yes, I am an ANC, but I will not vote. I'm still an ANC. But if maybe he can step down and somebody take over, maybe we'll get some changes according to what is happening right now.
Why do you say this?
No, according to how he spent the money. How he's spending the money we're not happy about it.
Precious Lebo is 19 years old and she will be voting for the first time in her life. So let's find out from her what her expectations are and how she wants her country to be.
I feel excited, and I can see many differences in my country. Yes.
Your word to the leaders and all the politicians campaigning?
I'd like to tell them that they should look after the whole country and make a difference.
Who are you voting for? Yes, it's a secret.
It's a secret.
I know.
But how I can tell you, ANC.
Why ANC?
I'm very happy with the ANC.
Unfortunately, only a third of the population of Boomfries actually registered to vote.
We are on social media, we are everywhere. We've tried to engage with young people. So if they haven't been able to come on board, we've done what we could together with civil society organizations, together with political parties.
Thousands of local and international observers are in the country monitoring the electoral process. The African Union Group is led by former Ghanaian President John Kufuor, while the SADC Lawyers Association is interestingly led by a Nigerian legal practitioner, Mrs. Boma Ozobia.
This appears to be a well-run process. Certainly, I haven't seen any violence or any of the sorts of things that in some parts of Africa you might be expecting to see. It's been peaceful, it's been friendly, all the parties appear to be well informed.
With campaigns concluded and special votes cast, the country awaits D-Day, May the 7th. Pt.2, Channels Television News.
It's going to be quite a busy day in South Africa as well as here in Nigeria. Remember, the World Economic Forum holds in the federal capital city, Abuja. Channels Television will be covering the major meetings for you. We'll be bringing them to you live. But up next is sports news. Thanks for watching The World Today. I am Amarachi Bani.